I'm Gareth Edwards, Dan Moyane away for today. Government is waging a war against illegal immigrants entering our country, they say. It's a massive problem. Zimbabweans account for the majority of foreigners living here in South Africa, and with that, many people blame our country's dire economic situation. The numbers of those coming in continue to rise, but it's not just Zimbabwe, of course. There are the other African countries which we know also have immigrants coming into our part of the continent. The Home Affairs Department trying to lobby experts to assist their border management authority. Well, the idea is to try and implement technology programs to deal with the problems at Beitbridge and other border posts. Well, let's take you to the center of one of the biggest issues in our country, border-wise, is up near Musina. eNCA reporter Pule Letshwiti-Jones up that part of the world for us. Pule, hello to you as well. I mean, it's not just devastating for the country's economy when we talk about the commercial aspect of trucks going backwards and forwards, but also it is this issue of illegal immigrants, simply, some are saying, walking over the border and making themselves at home.
Well, it's quite alarming, Gareth, to say the least. What we're witnessing on the ground today is quite shocking. Government may be preaching that it's doing all it can to try and fix the porous and, of course, ineffective borders, but we're seeing a different image on the ground. I got to speak to some of the guys who were smuggling goods in and out of South Africa freely without being intercepted by law enforcement agencies. It seems as though there's also a lack of presence on the ground at the borders as well. There isn't enough boots on the ground to curb this issue, which is affecting South Africans at large as well. I spoke to the MEC for Community Safety and, of course, Transport, Florence Razilani, who said the provincial government and the national governments are working together to try and strengthen the borders and ensure that they're not porous and that they were not losing the fight against undocumented foreign nationals flocking into the country. But I also spoke to a councillor, local councillor, who says that community members are worried about the number or influx of foreign nationals or undocumented foreign nationals flocking into the country, adding to the high rise of crime already, such as smuggling drugs into the country, and of course hijacked cars, illegal firearms, illicit cigarettes, tobacco, amongst other issues as well. These are some of the extensive concerns that have been highlighted by the local councillor. So the Department of Home Affairs says that it's implementing, of course, technological processes and amongst other means to try and add surveillance to what's happening around the borders as well. While earlier this year, the Department of Public Works, under the leadership of Minister Sihle Zikalala, had pledged a lot of resources, Gareth, and of course money towards the infrastructure development plan, which would speak to rehabilitating infrastructure and key points and borders as well, such as the Beitbridge border. But I just want you to take a listen to how interesting this conversation was when I spoke to one of the guys who alleges and claims to be smuggling some of the goods in and out of South Africa, and who caught them in action as well, and we spoke to them. This is what this guy had to say. How long have you been smuggling for?
I've got 3 years. 3 years. I started at the 2020, let's say 2020, because it's the end of 2019, December time.
How many times do you cross in and out of South Africa?
Otherwise, I can cross 3 to 4 times a day. Yeah, we transport the bags of people who come to buy things in this country. Then we transport it to Zim site, like bags, groceries, and all even for shops, for goods for shops. We can carry it from here, South Africa to Zimbabwe.
And if someone said to you, please smuggle something for me, and they give you money, you'll do it?
Yes, but not the dangerous things. We want the simple things like grocery. Now I've got fuel. even a bag for clothes.
And do you have the papers, or you just move around?
Even now, I don't have any paper, so we can cross it anyway, even at the bush or at the border. At other times, at other times we can get in border straight, but most of the time we can go outside.
But why are you doing this? Why are you doing it?
Because of struggling. We are struggling. Our life is very hard now. At Zimbabwe, there is no jobs. So we are struggling for our family, and our children. I have got four children, but I can support them with this job. Yes.
How much do you charge?
It's only, it depends with the half of that group. But we start with 100 upwards.
How long does it take the distance from where you buy here in Musina to Zim border? How long is it?
Approximately, let's say 5 km.
So are you not scared the soldiers or the police will arrest you? Do you take that risk?
We're not scared, because it's only that choice to find money about it. So I don't scare about anything, because it's only way to find our something to eat.
How many people smuggle in South Africa every day? How many people are there?
There are many people. Many people smuggling from South Africa to Zim.
And you've touched on one of the big questions we were asking to the Home Affairs Minister yesterday, Pule, is how many illegal immigrants are in the country. It's very difficult to tell, so I'm glad you asked that as well. Just as I let you go, what's the situation with the army up there? Because a lot of people on social media, some experts are saying we need to escalate away from border management and bring in the army. Are you seeing any of that? Is that what the army's supposed to be doing?
Yeah, look, Gareth, we're not seeing a lot of soldiers, army officials, or members of the SNDF patrolling the borders. You find them when you go deep inside next to the borderline of the gates. We're told that's where you probably would find them patrolling as well. But we did see some of the members of the Metro Police Department, of course, here in Musina. We did spot authorities from the Border Control Management, about 2 of them. But of course, when we spoke to some of the guys who were patrolling around the border, they were highlighting and hinting that they need more boots on the ground, they need more support, because they are also sometimes concerned about their safety in terms of, chasing undocumented foreign nationals who could retaliate by using unlicensed firearms, and it will be difficult to track them because really they are undocumented. So these are concerns that they're raising. But we also do know now, going forward, that the president later this year is expected to launch a parade where about 400 officials who will be part of the Border Control Management will be working and patrolling around several borders around the country as well. Hopefully that could be a step in the right direction in terms of strengthening the borders within the country as well. But for now, it remains quite easy for anyone just to walk through. At a price of about 100 Rand, you can smuggle in goods such as petrol, oil, and we don't know what else they're smuggling in those wrapped plastic boxes and plastics as well. It's quite concerning, and of course, it means that government needs to act with urgency to address this matter adequately.
Yeah, and fascinating to hear from that person you were speaking to, just 5 km away from the border, they're able to make their way across. Fascinating. We'll bring you more from Pule and our team up in Musina a little bit later. Pule Letshwiti-Jones on Border Watch for us this afternoon.